Hold on. Hold on.
Wait.
All stop. If you want to listen to the rest of this one, you got to go to his channel. Okay, Lasman has a song now. I gotta hear the quack. Oh my!
What?
Oh my!
The unholy fuck is that?
Welcome, Mandy Winters. We got, dude. This is a Outer Pangea Crapcast exclusive here. Live reaction. Look at this.
The fucking gay.
I fucking love it already.
Yes!
Matthew's the comic creator, guy who likes to draw. He's got a thing for ducks and holds them in awe.
Yes!
He's a little different and definitely a little odd, but his character is a duck with a macho body.
With a macho body.
He's ready for the feast. He will not be
Fucking
and the people that take hard knocks. It's mental and energetically wild. The art looks like it was double down. His books are all about peace. He's ready for the feast. He will not be police. I am told Alice is an Irish man. But it's hard to tell.
Oh, this is
With
great.
Yeah,
you got a new intro, bro.
Have you ever had any therapy?
Oh no!
Duck, get chat.
He's ready for the feast. He will not be police.
Woo!
Call him the Duck Lord.
Duck Lord.
Duck Lord! Yeah!
Watch him post his shows. And watch him post his tunnel. His books are all about peace. He's ready for the feast.
My gun hurts.
Police.
What the hell is that?
It's a clock person. Your attention to detail is a clock person.
Oh, it's goddamn clock people, damn it!
He's ready for the feast. He will not
I'm dying.
police.
Wow. Goddamn clock people. We're back.
Woo!
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh no!
If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast. To all of the queens who are fighting alone, baby, you're not dancing on your own. Let's go. Without me, you wanna, but you get na. Think it's funny, but honey, can't run the show on your own. I can feel my body shake. There's only so much I can take. I'll show you how a real queen behaves. No damsel in distress, don't need to save me. Once I stop breathing fire, you can't tame me. And you might think I'm weak without a sword, but if I had one, it'd be bigger than yours. If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast. To all of the queens who are fighting alone, baby, you're not dancing on your own.
She's the queen and I'm just lucky to get close to the throne. I'm not worthy, but she's taking me home. Yeah. No damsel in distress, don't need to save her. She's a goddess, I would never try to change her. She knows she got my world inside of her palm, but she can have whatever she wants.
All of the kings had their queens on the throne. We would pop champagne and raise a toast. To all of the queens
verb to the trap. I don't need a man for shit, put myself on the map. Oh, and they thought I was done. I ain't even hit my peak and I'm still on the run. I'm a Lolo on the laptop, I'm running the track. Only time I see a L's in a luxury tax. And my whole team when they post a pic just because they're like, oh, she chillin'. Yeah. $1,000,000 deals and my lipstick still it. I need acrylic nails, I don't need no critics. So witty gon' glow, so witty gon' shine. Circle full of tens, I don't see no nines. My name on they lips, my name on they mind. How I take it from the block to the Hollywood sign.
Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat or the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know him, but fuck him, he knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about reality and making some noise, making a story, making sure his click stays up. That means when he puts it down, Tox picking it up. Let's go.
Who the hell is he anyway? He never really talks much, never concerned with status, but still even in starstruck. Humble through opportunities given despite the fact that many misjudge him cause he makes a living from writing raps. Put it together himself, got a picture connects, never asking for someone's help or to get some respect. He's only focused on what he wrote, his will is beyond reach, and now it all unfolds, the skill of an artist. This is 20% skill, 80% fear, be 100% clear, cause Ryu was ill. Who would've thought he'd be the one that set the West in flames? And I heard him wreck it with the crystal method, name of the game. Came back, dropped Megadeth, took him to church. I like Bleach, man. Ryu had the stupidest verse, this dude is the truth. Now everybody giving them guest spots and stocks through the roof. I heard he fucking with that stock.
This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
They call him Ryu, he's sick and he's spitting fire. And Mike got him out the dryer, he's hot. Found him in Fort Minor with top, but a fucking nihilist porcupine. He's a prick, he's a cop. The type women wanna be within rappers, hope he gets shot. 8 years in the making, patiently waiting to blow. Now the record with your notice taking over the globe. He's got a partner in crime, his shit is equally dope. You won't believe the kind of shit that comes out of this kid's throat. He's not your everyday on the block. He knows how to work with what he's got, making his way to the top. He don't think it's a comment on his name. People keep asking him, was it given that birth or does it stand for an acronym? No, he's living proof. Let him rock in the booth. He'll get you buzzing quicker than a shot of vodka with juice. Him and his crew are known around as one of the best. Dedicated to what they do and give 100%.
Forget Mike, nobody really knows how or why he works so hard. It seems like he's never got time because he writes every note and he writes every line. And I've seen him at work when that light goes on in his mind. It's like a design is written in his head every time before he even touches a key or speaks in a rhyme. And those motherfuckers he runs with, the kids that he signed, ridiculous, without even trying. How do they do it? This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
And thank you, Mr. Duckman.
Okay, that's it. That's strike three.
Shoot.
Behind the fire and smoke, a beautiful city now, a war zone, fighting in streets, no time to joke. Just pray we survive, pray we're not alone. The dangers around the corners of every street, but we won't back down. We won't admit defeat. We need a hero, a savior we can lean
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of folks, a lot of y'all there. Stop camera just to check my sound. My sound sounds good. I think I sound good. I sound very good. I think so too. Yes. But yes, our good friend in the chat, Vasen Kasi. I hope I said your name right. If I didn't, I'm a POC, so I'm allowed to butcher the English language. So please allow me the room to butcher the English language because I'm allowed. But you read a lot of the Phil Mort comics when you were a kid. And yes, it contains over-the-top violence. In my little research that I did, yeah, it seems to be the staple of the comic strip. It's a pretty violent, but no more violent than the Tom and Jerry cartoons of the 40s and the Looney Tune cartoons of that era as well. So it carries over well, I think. But before I go on in my little dissertation, because we're gonna learn together about Franco Ibanez. But when do Strange Days sound good? I always sound good. This isn't right of you, Dargift. Definitely not right. What was I saying? Oh yeah, people in the chat. Shout out to the people in the chat. Shout out to Hothead Studios. He supports the now deadlined crowdfunder link for the B Citizen Road Warrior Drake, which is going to have a second chance campaign on for my comic in the fall when the first draft of the book is completed. So stay tuned for that. Those of you that didn't back it, you'll have a chance to back it then. So I think many of you will back it and you're going to enjoy it. My good friend Helmet Korshikin is in the chat, and he has cited Franco Ibanez as another one of his favorite comic creators. He has books translated in German. Yes, the comics were originally in Spanish because he's from Spain, because his last name is Ibanez, and it stands to reason that his comics would be in Spanish because he speaks Spanish. So it would make sense. I mean, if it doesn't make sense, then I don't know what to tell you because it is what it is. But yeah, his comics are translated in German, and they were very big there. Guy in the room in the chat, he's there. Hey, old guy in the room, Geek Avenger. How you doing, Geek Avenger? Oh, this chat is so totally Kirby. What's up? James Hurley, how you doing, my friend James Hurley? Welcome to see you. Jav Styler is there as well, and I saw a Billy Powermax sighting. This chat so far is surprisingly racism free. I love it. This is peaceful. It's absolutely peaceful. I like peace in my chat. I like to be in a safe space, in a very comfortable environment. Yeah, so that thumbnail you see is a panel from his Mort and Phil comics from I think this is from like the late 70s. I think this is from the 70s. Because he started the comics in the 50s and he didn't finish it because he died in 2000, so they stopped with his death, obviously, so which is good. Not that he's passed away, but that his creations stopped with him, because I'm not a fan of one's creations continuing on past the creator's lifespan, because you lose a little bit of that character. So there's no way you can replicate it unless the creator entrusts that brand and IP to someone he knows is going to carry on the spirit of that IP. So Hothead says, give it time. Time for what? Time for what? I was praising you, Hothead. I was giving you props. My good friend Filter is here. He's here to offset the absolute supremacy in the chat. Carbon dioxide says Metallica. I don't know what that means, but welcome, Carbon dioxide. Welcome to the good cool kids in the chat. Now, before I read or go into the exploration of who Francisco Ibanez is and go into his really wacky artwork, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, his artwork is very wacky but expressionist. So what some would call wacky and disjointed, many would call expressionist and lively. I am in that camp. Just as I am expressionist and lively, because I'm a POC. A good friend of the channels, Aldous on the Farm, shared this. This is an excerpt from an interview that was coordinated with Roy Thomas, the former editor-in-chief of Marvel, also a writer in his own right. And he made a statement. I think this interview was from Comics Journal 61. And what you're going to hear Roy Thomas say is what I've been echoing in these streams. So this is coming from Roy Thomas's own lips. Now, you don't have to take his word as gospel. You don't even have to agree with him. All I'm saying is the sentiment is a lot more generally accepted than people want to believe it is, especially our modern independent scene. But here we go. Let's see here. So Gustafsson, who did the interview with him on Comics Journal 61, asked him a question about negativity. Thomas replies, not really, but as Sturgeon says, 90% of everything is crap, including Sturgeon's own work. Though Sturgeon's crap, it must be said, would be on a higher level than most. Most comic art, listen to this. Most comic art, like most science fiction, and indeed most of what passes for culture in our civilization, is really only of sociological, not artistic interest. Let me read that again. What passes for culture in our civilization is really only of sociological, not artistic interest in relation to comic art. Let me read it one more time. Most comic art, like most science fiction, and indeed most of what passes for culture in our civilization, is really only of sociological, not artistic interest. What have I been saying in my streams? I'm saying that I've always said that the comics that you love, or the, actually this goes more to the creators, your passion project, that book that you were so hot on being the next best thing. You can harp on the art all you want, but it's really oh, look who's here. Oh fuck, I was having a good stream too. Damn it. Oh damn it. Oh. I'm just gonna pretend you're not here, Carol. I'm gonna pretend you're not here. As I was saying, comics have always been considered disposable media. They were never really meant to be collected or revered or cherished or what have you. But it's the market that made it so. The market made it cherished. The market collected it. The market gave it value. So one of the reasons why I do these streams is because what some people, especially creators in the indie scene, specifically the indie scene, not just up-and-coming creators, but some established ones, they kind of thumb their nose at some comics because it doesn't meet their quote-unquote standards. And what I'm saying is it isn't up to you to determine what is considered sociologically or culturally important. Creators don't determine that. The market determines that. The market determines what's important when it comes to art, especially comics. So that comic book that you thought looked like shit, guess what? The market may absolutely love it and could give two shits about your opinion. But anyway, let me continue on. So he says, I admire Jack Kirby and John Buscema and Neil Adams and Bernie Wrightson and Rich Corbin and all the rest, but it's still really just commercial art. And it's just about as inappropriate to talk about such stuff as art as it is to wax poetic over the art in an ad for a Subaru. Oof. He threw that bomb out there. That doesn't mean there aren't a lot of truly talented people in the field, but the field itself doesn't really allow for art and shouldn't. Art is what people come along later and tell you you have created, not what you proudly announce to the world as the definitive this or the ultimate that. What he's saying is creators will come out and say, oh, I'm an artist, or I produce a masterpiece. He's saying it isn't for you to determine that. You don't get to determine that. It's the market that determines that. It's for other people to tell you if what you created was art. You don't get to determine that because art is a reflection of the society or the culture that it's a part of in the current time that it's in, that it was created in. Or you can even say in the next generation after it was created, if it takes on a legend of its own. Like, the Mona Lisa or the Sistine Chapel, the Louvre. Those, not really say, I wouldn't say they stood the test of time, but the legend grew as generations came and passed. So a lot of the people that I spotlighted, a lot of the creators that I spotlighted, the artists in particular that I spotlighted, probably wouldn't see a time or day in our current modern scene because they don't look like image comic artists. And yet they still found a level of success that probably a lot of artists that would be deemed better than them have not even sniffed. To continue on, he says, all that is hype, and Stanley certain hasn't got any monopoly on that in America today. No, indeed. Gustavo says, yeah, you have paintings by Frank Frazetta and Carl Barks and others hanging on your walls. Carl Barks is the artist for the Scrooge McDuck and Donald Duck comics from Disney. Thomas says, like almost everybody else I know, I may not know art, but I know what I like. I bought the Barks painting of Scrooge because I liked Carl's comic. So Roy Thomas is a big Carl Barks fan, and he loved those comics, which nobody would ever accuse of being high art. yet they're better than a lot of what comes out and perceived to be as high art. I definitely would sociological, meaning, you know, like it has a relevance in terms of the societal norms and behavior. I think that's the way of putting it. Geek Avengers, if I go silent for a period of time, I sometimes spontaneously nap. And you should, because my voice has been known to put people to sleep. So please enjoy the nap and avoid the coffee. James Hurley was mentioned earlier about the John Woo. So John Woo has a remake of The Killer that he put out there, and boy, it is feminist as shit. So the less said, the better. But no, I will escape you, Carol. I will escape you, and I already got people on working hard behind the scenes to make sure you're digitally canceled. All your platforms are going to be muted. It's going to happen. Stop rooting around, Carbon Dioxide. This is my stream. This is my stream, dog. Damn it! I will not allow this. Anyway, no. See, you don't do this. Don't do this, guys. Don't do this. I'm going to start blocking people. See, she already does the violence. She does the violence. So, guidance from that to EVS. I'm talking to all the creators in the sphere. Even the ones below EVS that thumb their nose at certain types of art because it doesn't meet their standards. And Roy Thompson, and like I said, it's not the art that determines how good a comic book is. It's the story. And the art serves to what's the word? The art should serve to complement the story. It shouldn't be about, story's crap, but the art is good. Buy my book. No. Is the story good? And if the story is good, does the artwork complement it? Does the artwork service the story? Because you can have a super fucking detailed book visually, and each page could be its own painting in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. But if the story sucks, the comic is shit. Yeah, that's my hot take. And Roy Thomas takes it one step further. He says comics are just commercial art. It's about as artistic as a Subaru ad. Now, again, he does echo what I say, which is it's not the creators that determine whether the book is good or not. It's the people, the market. He says people, I say market. It's we're talking about the same people. The market is what determines if a book has legendary status in years to come. You know, you could work hard on a comic or a graphic novel and convince people that it is an excellent story. It's a deep story. But the market's got to be the one to tell you that. If it doesn't tell you that, then maybe your book just didn't resonate. And look, not to say that maybe the story wasn't good. It just didn't resonate with the society. It didn't resonate with the crowd. Didn't resonate with the current market. That's on you to find out why it didn't happen. Look at manga. Manga's not high art. It's definitely not high art. You know, very few manga is considered really good art pieces of art. Ipatsu's Sugoi Project is one example of beautiful art in manga. But a lot of manga is really standard, and they use a lot of 3D assets, a lot of photo references, because they got deadlines to meet. It's about just telling the story and making sure it's fun for the people who buy it to read it. They're not trying to produce a piece of art. They're trying to produce product. And what is product? A good, fun story that will get people to continue to buy it because they want to be invested in the story. But Guy in this room says, is this guy the creator of the Ibanez guitar brand? I don't think so. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. This is not that kind of stream. Yeah, I doubt it though. I don't think he is. It'd be funny if it was though, but no. Yeah, I don't think he is. So, Hot as Sudi says, does it bring value? Does it bring you value? Yes. Share it, support it, talk about it, love it. If not, move on to the next thing. Yeah, exactly. Does it bring you value? That is ultimately that's what's important. Is does it bring you, the person, the individual? Does it bring you value? Who cares what some creator says? Does that book in particular bring you value? Does it entertain you? Does it inspire you? That's what's important more than anything. I like stylized stuff, says Javi Stylor. Yeah, me too. I love stylized work. I'm 100% behind it. James Hurley says, alas, Matt, the Soskas are better writers than EVS. I'll say this. At least they gave us a complete graphic novel. Whether you like the story or not, Yaira was a complete story. And I'm a fan of graphic novels that have complete stories. You can judge a story all you want, but give me a complete story if I'm going to pay a certain amount of money for it. And I'll leave it at that. Carbon Dioxide says Roy Lichtenstein is true art. True art, he says. Roy Lichtenstein. Who doesn't love Roy Lichtenstein, right? Because it actually does inspire some very fun looking comic art. So art is a lie. No, art isn't a lie. What art is an expression surpassing whatever was on the surface. Again, the community determines what is art. Chester Gould is a damn legend, says James Hurley. I have the first volume of the Dick Tracy collector strips. I gotta get the second volume because I love the Dick Tracy character, and I've read a few of the strips. I want to start collecting those strips because those strips are absolute fun, gritty and fun. I love the Dick Tracy stuff. Thomas seems based on hothead. Yeah, he speaks a lot of truth. He speaks a lot of truth there, and it's a truth that a lot of people don't want to hear. But trust me, a lot of people think it, and it destroys a lot of egos. It really triggers a lot of creators. But I'm telling you, it's not you that determine. You, the creator, doesn't determine whether or not your book is going to be fondly remembered for years to come. It's the market. So, if you really want that book or story to be fondly remembered, maybe it should be less about you and more about your story and your characters, and just be about that. Massive Pandas in the chat. He says, "What's up, Elizabeth? Late, but I hope I didn't miss too much." No, we barely started. Of course, the usual racism happened in the chat. That you know how that goes. Lady Fairlane says, "Hail, Lazmat. Hail to the chat. Hail, Lady Fairlane." No, Carol, leave Lady Fairlane alone. Don't say hi to anybody, Carol. I don't allow it, Carol. Please, I don't allow it. Hothead says, "Social." I gotta speak Chinese. Sociology and comics sounds like a lot of hope. Everything that's produced for the mass has a level of sociological value in it, Hothead. So I wouldn't put a thumbs down on that because the reason why Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Captain America, Fantastic Four, even Cerebus and Ninja Turtles, and going to my indie comic outlier stuff, whether it's Cheech Wizard, Gondorito, Skippy. The reason why these characters resonated during their time is because of their sociological value to the people. There is some truth to that. So, Master Panda says, "I agree, but have you ever read a comic where the story was on point, but the art was so insufferable that you couldn't even continue turning the pages?" Master Panda, I don't think I can. I don't think I've read a comic where the story was on point, but the art was bad. Like if you can give me some examples, I'd like to know about it. I do, because I don't think I've had that experience. So I'm curious to see what your thoughts on that is. Carbon Dioxide says Winsor McKay still blows most artists out of the water. Winsor McKay, yes, I think is he on my let me see, is he on my list? I think he is. Yes, I think he is. Yes. And he's very historical because he did the Gertie the Dinosaur cartoon. The story behind that is insane, but I think I'll talk about him one day for sure. Gantz is all 3D assets, is Kirby, and was a very popular manga. Yeah, because it's about the story. While Apatu was all brush and pen, and he was a very meticulous inker, beautiful inker. Apatu was, but he was the exception, not the norm when it comes to manga. 60% of the time, the story carries the art. Says Filter, 100%. Yes, 100%. Well, no, because that would negate your 60%. So I would say I agree with your 60%. Yes, I would say that's a fairly decent assessment, Filter. Hello, Suzanne. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Henry, did we see Henry Thrun? I didn't see Henry Thrun. Is he here? Did I miss Henry Thrun? Here we go. Henry Thrun. Welcome to the chat, Henry Thrun. On my way home from Costco. Hopefully this will carry you home. By the way, it rained here. It stormed here in my end a few minutes ago. So if for some reason I get bounced off stream, it's because I lose power. But I have my phone running in the background, so I have that as backup. So if I get kicked out because of loss of power, I will still be on stream in some form. So don't go nowhere. Let's see. Naz Bennett says, A friend told me to read a comic he loved, but gave me disclaimers about the bad art beforehand. I read a few panels and couldn't get through it. It was horrendous. Okay. Now, I'm not saying there aren't comics like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure that there are some comics where even if the story was good, the art was so bad you couldn't read it. But I think that's more of an exception, and it just more proves the rule, which is you could still have a good story and mid art, and the book could still be considered good. So, but yeah, give me some examples. I'd like to check those out. That'd be interesting to talk about. Not sure why the writer just didn't go with another artist altogether. Okay, that's still referring to the same book from before. Art is not live because art is subjective. Yeah, art is subjective. Absolutely, 100%. It is subjective. However, I do take the Mahler perspective. Of course, you guys know Mahler, who's part of the FNC crowd. But Mahler himself says during his Last Jedi review that there is an objective value to art. Now, I don't think he went into detail about the objective value. I mean, he did if you listen to his critique of the last, but I would say when it comes to objective value, the thing that matters most is it consistent and is there a form? If I was to measure it objectively, I would use consistency and form. Consistency in what? Well, consistency in the tone of the story. And if there's a form that's being told where you can picture it or rather whether the story that is being told is unique unto itself, that you can appreciate it, I guess. It's probably the best way I can put it. Suzanne, why are you telling this woman that she can commit violence? See, look, you empowered her. I'm here being serious. I'm here being philosophical and sociological, and you're empowering her. Stop it. Oh, he's your lawyer, Cat? Oh, you're so going to lose now. You're so going to lose. Oh, I'm going to have fun cleaning up in the... oh, never mind. All comics are an art. It is an art form. I think that the whole art form thing did come into play decades later. But it is commercial art either way, because the idea of it behind it is to sell. It's to make money. Every creator who has produced a comic wants to make money off of it. Therefore, it is a form of commercial art. And it's up to you if you agree with Roy Thomas's take that a comic's art should be held to the same standard as a Subaru ad. It's up to you if you want to take that stance, but I'm just sharing with you what he and many in his industry think of comic art, and what I've been saying before about how comic art was really, well, not comic art, but comic books were generally meant to be disposable media, and it's only in the recent couple of decades that it's taken on a form of appreciation and reverence in terms of whether it's considered art or not. So, Hothead says, comics are mostly artistically driven. Maybe they were invoking a mood or a certain theme. I think it needs to be more story driven, and the art should serve the story. Suzanne, we don't say hi to the bully. We don't say hi to the bully here. Please don't say hi to the bully. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Going down to the chat a little more. So let's see here. Okay. Ibanez Hothead Studios. True. Overall, I think you're right, though. My type of example is a pretty rare one. Usually, a good story will keep you flipping the pages, even if the art is mediocre. That's exactly my point, Master Panda. That's exactly my point. You proved that. So yes, this is true, and this is what a lot of creators will get triggered over, is because you'll get like pages that are meticulously inked, but the stories are shit. It's like, well, it's a shit story. So, can you really say that comic book is good? Can you say that a comic book that has great art but shitty story, can you call that book itself art? I'd argue that no, you can't, because the art form of comics must rely on the story being told as well. That's why I think Kingdom Come is a good example of a book that's artistic. Not just because of Alex Ross's artwork, which is incredible, because the story itself that's being told is pretty good. So that's an example of a comic or graphic novel that I would consider artistic. Another one would be Dark Knight, Frank Miller's Dark Knight. The artwork is serviceable, but the story being told is pretty good. So I think that's a good example of another graphic novel that can be considered high art. Well, not high art, but artistic in general. KSS says, also blows most artists under the Carol Colors blows most artists under the water. But I like this about Elasma. Elasma blows most artists. Screw you! Screw you! Just for that, and for what you've been bestowed upon me, I give this to you.
You know what they say? Nobody gives a hummer like a gummer.
That's for you, Candace. I hope she's in your nightmares until the end of time. I hope she stays that way. Jav Styler says they go into autistic detail almost every week for 12 hours. Comics are being analyzed in a way that it was never meant to be analyzed. Is the story good? Does the art service the story? That's what it's about. That's really what comics was meant to be. Have I ever seen Heat or the Mighty Vice movie? No, I have not. I've not. Maybe one day I will. Who knows? Haddad says objective value. I'd agree with that. There's a lot of deconstruction of certain genres that undervalue their importance and familiarity. Personally, I'm sick of it. These things worked for a reason. Yeah, I think deconstruction was something that should have been experimented with. Not often, but the fact that it's become a genre of its own undermines what it was trying to do, which is trying to commit a subversion. But when it becomes a genre on itself, it's no longer subversive. It's now a genre with expectations and its own set of standards. So yeah, I agree with that. I just got home, says Henry threw and have to put away groceries later. Later, Henry threw later. Suzanne says, I need to meditate more and realize Carol is no, she's not. I'm not even gonna read the rest of that. Absolutely not. Donnie says Carol's a girl boss. You've all gotten woke. You're all woke. You're making my stream woke. I'm not gonna do it. I don't allow it. Going down further, carbon dioxide. He says, "Oh wait, not your proudest fap." Oh no, you're talking about you're talking about the lady without the teeth. Oh my gosh. I think I've contributed to that mess. Carbon dioxide. I think for old comics, what he said, the physical comic book itself is a work of art. The printing on the newsprint, the ads, the cover, interior, all together make a piece of cool. See, that actually proves my point, carbon dioxide, that the book itself, that the sum of the parts is what makes the comic book artistic. The art plus the story. You took it a step further and talked about like the older comics with the ads, which indicates a place of time, a time machine, so to speak. So yeah, you have a good case there, and it actually proves the point that comics need all the parts to come together and work together to produce that one physical item you have in your hand. So I agree 100%. Alex Raymond was king with Flash Gordon. Yes, he was absolutely. All I have to do is say hello, and the rest just no. It does not, Carol. It does not happen. I'm trying to be serious and talk about comics, and you're derailing my stream. This stream is high art. It's artistic. I'm an artistic man. I produce high art in the comics world, and you're undermining my business, undermining my success and my place in history, and I won't allow it ever. Leave me alone, Ken. I have a lot of movies I haven't seen yet. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I have a lot of movies I have not seen yet. So, let's see here. Now go watch. I will. I'll go watch Heat. Leave me alone. I will. Yeah, you know how that I do miss the smell. Newsprint. Actually, the scent of newsprint reminds me of when I used to get comics in the 80s off the newsstand. And I specifically associate like the old Transformers comics, I should say, off the newsstand. Or the G.I. Joe comics off the newsstand. Heck, even the Wolverine comics. Like I remember holding some of the floppies, Wolverine floppies, and the scent of the newsprint just brought me back to what it was like. So let's see here. Just give me over a check because I do have a thing where I just go behind. So I will try to catch up because we got to go into our artist here, Francisco Ibanez. Josh Styler says, I looked up that one. Oh, hold on. I read it wrong. That's a pretty art-centric and relatively short 3-hour EFAP, 254, mostly about Kincaid paintings. I don't know. I think I'm lost on that one. Okay. Heated tits, crank up the volume though. Okay. So yeah, let us talk about Francisco Ibanez, who is a Spanish humorist. And this panel you're seeing here, which I use as a thumbnail, was from his Morton Phil comic strips. In Spanish, they were Mortadelo y Filemón. La Terhivecina. La Terhivecina. From 1991. This is 1991, 9 years before he passed away. But Morton and Phil were detectives, kind of like the inspector. If you remember those cartoons by Friz Freleng, he did the Pink Panther. He did a bunch of other cartoons, and one of those cartoons that he did was the Inspector. And the Morton Phil comics were kind of similar to those, to the Inspector cartoons. I think, although the Inspector came out years later in cartoon format, Mortadelo and Filemon came out in the 50s, and it continued well into Ibanez's death back in 2000. So, the objectivity art. Yeah, I do remember. Oh, you're right. He did do that EFAP. Okay, yeah. The EFAP. Yeah. Okay, now I've seen. Okay, this is why I have to catch up with the chat so I can add the context of what you guys are saying. But I did enjoy those EFAPs, and I learned a lot about them for sure. So, Carbon Dioxide says, I love when old comics have printing errors. When colors don't match the line art, it looks like pop art on the old newsprint. Yeah, I did. I love those too. It adds charm to it. It gives that particular comic its own character. Did you see the Manhunt? Did you see Manhunter with Brian Cox's Hannibal the Cannibal? I did. And honestly, I thought that movie was better than Silence of the Lambs. So I did. I am that guy. Guilty as charged. Ibanez died in 2003, says Helmet. And I just got myself a cup of coffee by my beautiful woman, who is watching me spurg out on the stream over comics. So she's very lovely with that. So I'm drinking my coffee right now. God damn, it's hot. Oh, it's delicious. Oh, when coffee burns your tongue, it's the best. I am that guy for sure. Yeah, but Ibanez died in 2003. So Suzanne asks, or says, have you ever seen the antique way of doing newsprint on standalone rollers and dipping a roller into ink? I have seen that. Yeah, that's awesome. You know, maybe one day we should show that. I'll look for it and I'll show it. Maybe I'll show it tonight. Who knows? But I love that. It's awesome how before we had computers and so forth, they had these ways of putting the art onto the newsprint. It's amazing. Yeah, I love Manhunter too. Okay, it says I thought that was better than Silence of the Lambs. I'll say it till the cows come home. I enjoy setting all the stamps and plates. Yeah, it's. I think watching that. Maybe we should watch it together someday. Maybe tonight if I have time. But watching how they used to print comics is an art form unto itself. Who were Ibanez's inspirations? Well, we're going to go into that right now, KSS. And I know very little about Ibanez other than what I knew already about him. So we're going to learn together. So we're going to scroll quickly down. This is taken from lambiek.net. Lambiek.net. They have a lot of artists on their page, so you can look them up. Let's see here. So he was very prolific in the 40s, in the 50s, especially the 50s. And his humor has been known to be very grotesque, violent slapstick humor, but that was the norm when it came to comedy. You know, some of the early comedians like Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton, they were very slapstick, very physical, so it resulted in pretty violent comics or stories. But not violent like we know it, just violence in that there was a lot of physical action against people. But so let's see here. Scroll down a little bit here. So it says here that okay, so Jesus Blanco. That looks like it's one of his inspirations. Let's take a quick look here at Jesus Blanco. I might oh, look at that. This is Jesus Blasco. He's also a Spanish comic artist. One of Ibanez's inspirations. Although this particular art style is very industry standard, so he wouldn't necessarily be a perfect fit for my streams. But he's good. That's because he's good. He's like industry standard good. But he was considered, Ibanez was, or rather, these are his influences, the Bruguera cartoonists. Bruguera, including Joseph Escobar, Jose Penayara, Guillermo Cifre, Carlos Conti, Manuel Vasquez, and Jorge. Jorge. There's an artist named Jorge. Just Jorge. Hold on. I got to look this Jorge up. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. I got to save this guy. We got to do Jorge at some point. Okay. We're definitely doing Jorge. Not today, but we will do Jorge. So, oh, man. He has an inspiration named Jorge. This guy's the fucking best already. He's the fucking best. He had a guy named Jorge who was his inspiration. Guys, he's a walking stereotype. Jorge inspired him. I'm inspired by Jorge too. Guy in his room says, Alasmat loves newspapers. That's why he has a whole wall of newspaper articles with lines drawn connecting. Shut up, guy in his room. Don't dox me. How dare you dox me? What do you mean? No, I don't collect newspapers. I don't do that. Thank you. Thank you. Chick Young seems to be an inspiration. Well, Chick Young, whether directly or indirectly, inspired a lot of creators, including, he didn't inspire Percy Crosby, but he was peers with him at the time. Chick Young, the creator of Blondie, by the way, for those that don't know. Some say that Carol is a lot. No, she's not. Guy in his room. This is wrong. This is wrong. See, every time people say something, you inspire to be violent, and not the good violence. Yes, hothead Jorge. Jorge was Francisco Ibanez's inspiration. Jorge. So now we will do. As a matter of fact, fuck it. I'm doing Jorge next week. We're doing Jorge next week. Jorge is going to be next week's comic outlier. Fuck that. I'm doing Jorge next week. I am going to do a stream on Jorge. Because fuck you, that's why. Okay, Kansas, what was Blasco's first name? I want to look up his art. I really liked what I saw. Okay, so Blasco's let's see, where was it again? It was not Billy. That would imply some artistic. Let me see. Thankfully for the search option. Jesus Blasco. The artwork kind of reminds me of like some of the Conan art from Marvel. So definitely macabre. But yeah, look this guy up. This guy looks like it's pretty good. Very good stuff. So there you go. So yeah, look him up. But I am doing a stream next week on Jorge. Yeah, we're doing Jorge next week. Fuck that. Okay. Okay. So that's what that was one of his inspirations, Jorge. Oh, I love my life. I don't care that I'm going through something right now. I love the fact that I found out that Francisco Ibanez's inspiration is a guy named Jorge. No, it's not gay. He's great, KSS. He's great. Jesus is a great name, though. Yes. Jesus is great. Yes. Jesus Blasco. Yeah. Am I in Mexico? Asked Suzanne. No, I'm in my work study. But if I'm ever in Mexico, I may come out different. Yes, got him. Jorge. Not the hey all whore, but Jorge. Doing a stream on whores. No, that's what Wiggle and Lord Raptor Jesus do. I do a stream on Indie Comic Outliers, but I am going to do a thing on Jorge. Yes, it's the CG way. Yeah. Oh man, you got me to agree with Carol, guys. Stop it. I'm not going to agree with her on shit. Stop it. Anyway, Massive Pen says, it's a shame we don't get to see as much loose gestural art in comics like this these days anymore. I'm sure there's some out there, but it's in the minority. Well, this is what I do, my friend. I do this. I mean, not as exaggerated, but yeah, this is what I do. This is my art style. This is what I do. This is my inspirations for my characters, my stories. The stories I'm telling. It's in this vein. It's let's give you an example here. Page 8 from B Citizen Road Warrior Drake. A shot of Drake fighting the nozzle of a tank, of an Abrams tank. So I'm if you're looking for this kind of art style, this is what I do. This is who I am. I am one of the misunderstood creators in CG and comics in general. So misunderstood, by the way, that when I was on Matt Barr's stream months ago, Mike Barron foolishly said, "Is this a joke?" Foolishly said, "Is this a joke?" Which caught me off guard, but Baron is part of that crowd of people that probably don't see comics as more than commercial art, which is fine because again, that's more or less the perception by a lot of these creators. But you guys are the ones that determine the value and importance of comics. You determine its importance, not us creators. Do Brussels. That'll be just for you for trying to pronounce everything. Brussels? Brussels. What's a Brussels? Can you guys tell me what a Brussels is? I have no clue what a Brussels is. Is that a vegetable? I mean, is that really a person? I think that's a vegetable. I think you're turning me vegan. Yes, Suzanne. I'm only getting 10 likes because of the harassers in the chat. You guys who are watching who are not liking my stream, hit that like button. Help me conquer the shadow ban. I deserve better. Help me win. Help me beat the shadow ban. I got cake in my mouth, so I'm sorry. I should be eating from the stream. That's so unprofessional of me, but I don't care. Fuck you. Yeah, hit the like button, please. So, God bless Jorge. Anyway, here's Haciendo el Indio. Haciendo the Indian, one of his strips from 1958. La Risa number 54. So La Risa means the laughter. This is from 1958. So if you guys remember the again, going to the Friz Freleng cartoons of the 70s with Pink Panther and the Inspector, it's got that similar art style. I think Friz Freleng was definitely inspired by this. If not by this, by whatever inspired Ibanez. Maybe Friz Freleng was also inspired by Jorge. Jorge inspired a lot of people. But you can see here that Ibanez was definitely inspired by Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. Like I said, those guys are so influential that they transcended the medium of art of film. It goes even to cartoons. Cartoons, yes. Here's a strip called Kokolo. And this reminds me of like some of the older Looney Tunes, even some of the Disney cartoons with Bosco. Bosco was Looney Tunes, the old Looney. This was like early Looney Tunes before Porky Pig and Daffy Duck took it over, but it's got that similar appearance. Kokolo, obviously some kind of native. Back when it was fun to make fun of natives. Now you can't because it's considered racism. You can make fun of me, but you can't make fun of natives. It's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. So, going down to the chat here. Let's see here. Bro Cell says hothead. Bro Cell. Totally not a hack. Why? Because I'm a pock hothead? I see where that's going. What you eating? Cereal? No, I'm eating cake. Not peanuts, Carol Colors. Cake. Cake. Lots of cake. Or carbon dioxide says, massive. Johnny Ryan is a current cartoony comic artist. I think I have him on my list, but I'll put it again. But yeah, I'll check him out because we got to shout out to these people because they're producing a sector of comics that is very underrated in our current generation, but it was massively influential to other creators spanning different countries. We tend to overlook that. Yeah, I mean, one, for example, and of course, creator of Condorito, Peppo, his name Peppo. Yeah, he's another example. Joff says no. Brussels is a creative wormer, probably the biggest German comic. Helmet, he's asking for Helmet's help. Can you help him out, Helmet? Can you help Joff Style out regarding Brussels and what have you? Carol, I'm not sure. I'm human. I have heart and I bleed. Don't ever say that about me. See, Kirby, I held you in much esteem, and you have to feed her violence. Not acceptable, not cool. I am eating cake, KSS, and I'm enjoying it. I can do that. I'm allowed. Oh, the bro cell. Oh, you're talking about my pronunciation. You can't make fun of my pronunciation, Jocelyn, because that's racism. If I mess up, it's because the English language is too hard. It's oppressive. English is oppressive, okay? If I get a word wrong, it's the English language's fault. You got to correct it, not me. I was correct. I'm right. So, what kind of cake are you eating? Is there frosting? It's blueberry shortcake. And yeah, there's some white stuff. I think it's whipped cream on it. And I'm enjoying it. So let's see. Is this a YouTuber I can look up? Thanks for the recommendation. I'll check him out in a sec. In a sec. Oh, he's streaming. Wow, the betrayal is bad on this one. Real bad. Bruxelles says on it. How about this? Bruxelles is the creator of the Warner comics. They are about his youth, his first work, and his love for motorcycles. Aha. Motorcycle pornographers unite. So, you are human and have a heart and you bleed. So do cows. So do. Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did to KSS. And honestly, you're now excommunicado. So, continue on with more of Ibanez's work. Don Usura. That's another one of his. Let me see if I can enlarge it so you can see it close up. There you go. So let me see if I can interpret this for you or translate it. I should say not interpret it, but translate it. But you can see this art style, and I promise you look at this and you could imagine some of the early American comic strips you read that has similar art style. Voy a saloncito a enterarme de las últimas catástrofes. He's going to the funeral home to bury himself. Spanish dialect can be tricky in some countries, including Spain. Spanish in Spain is different from Spanish in South America. There's a lot of certain differences that can make it kind of confusing. Because he's going to bury himself from the last catastrophes. He's going to the funeral home there. This guy in the chair says, "How are you doing, Don Sir?" And he says, "Vaya. Se me adelantó ese sueto. Voy a hacerme un café." He's going to make himself a coffee. And the kid's making a coffee. She says, "Hi." And he says, "I'm very busy." Brr. He walks away and he's wearing a kilt. It's interesting. He's wearing a kilt. So it's adorable when Elasma pretends he can speak. Leave me alone, KSS. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. How was that artist 40 years ago do a better job at making funny cartoons than American artists today? Because guess what, Hothead? And I think you know the answer to this. The cartoonists back then weren't hampered by Bechdel tests, DEI, what else? ESG. They weren't hampered by political correctness. They could make fun of people and get away with it. Not today, though. Today, if you make fun of the natives in other places, it's racism. You're not allowed. But that's why I'm protected, because you can't do that to me. So. Okay, so this wants me to say, "Leave me alone" in Spanish. Okay. I'll say it in Spanish for you. So you'll learn. Ay, dame en paz, ese. Dame en paz. There, clip it. Clip it. Love it. Jerk off. EFAP it. Whatever you want to do. It's yours. I gave it to you. It's yours. So. Let's see here. So he talked about in an interview, Ibanez did. Although it's saying 2009, but Helmut, can you confirm that? Because you said that he passed away in 2003, but this interview is saying it came out in 2009. This doesn't seem right. So maybe 2013 he passed away. Could that be? He passed away in 2013? But he's talking more about his inspirations. He says older artists like Emilio Boix had an important influence on his work until 1960. Well, that's the next sentence, but yeah, Emilio Boix and Jorge were his inspirations. Lots and lots of Jorge. Here's another comic of his. Let me open it up into the tab so you can see it much bigger. There we go. There we go. So, Menelas por. Here's a line character. His line character is what kind of cold are we dealing with here? Ya me has hallado con el estómago vacío. He's walking around with an empty stomach, he says. It's cold. Lo peor es que no tengo ni para comprarme una gasolina. He doesn't have any money to buy, I guess, whatever snack that is in Spain. Y por aquí no hay quien venda a los plazos. There's no one here to sell it to him, he says. Oiga, joven. Hear me, young person. Joven means young person, of course. And es a mí, viejo. And he's saying, are you talking to me, old person, or old fogey? Viejo meaning old fogey. This person says, la interesaría ganar 200 plazas en un trabajo fácil. You want to earn $200 in a simple job? And Milena says, pues claro que sí, of course I do. ¿A quién hay que matar? Who do you want me to kill? She's asking. I think it's a she. It's a he, I don't know if it's a he or she, but I think it's a he. Yeah, anyway. And this person says, no se trata solo que de ir a plantar un cuartel en el centro del lago que sea helado. So you just got to plant a cuartel in the center of the lake, which froze. Oh, so he's got to plant something in the center of the frozen lake. And he's saying, trato hecho, vengo el cuartelito ese. He says he'll do it. So he's okay. So in the beginning of the panel, he's complaining about how cold it is and he's hungry. But then the last one, he's like, "Oh, I'll do it. Sure, I'll go in the cold. Why not? Why not?" So, go back to the chat here. Alasman actually said, "The bicycle is funny. I drink camel urine in Spanish." That's racist, hothead. I mean, KSS. That's absolute racism. I am not Arab. Don't ever do that to me again. I'll ban you. Okay. Oh, 2023. Okay, so he passed for last year. Okay. I don't know why I saw 2003, but yeah, 2023. Okay, cool. So that makes sense. Okay. All right. Kansas asked me, this is about Ibanez. Why are you focusing on Jorge? What kind of clickbait was the title? I didn't mean it, Kansas. As soon as I saw Jorge, I said, wow, we definitely should have did this guy. We'll do it next week. We're doing Jorge next week. And not hey, y'all, Jorge. I'm talking about Jorge, Spanish George. We'll call him Spanish George, but I think Jorge sounds better. So let's go out here. Okay. I am kind of racist. You should either be fully racist or not. Kind of won't do. Be one or the other. Don't be hot. Be hot or be cold. Don't be lukewarm. Thomas says, yes, stood hot in studios. I remember this because there was a huge mourning in the German comic book scene, and someone from there hit me up and told me, the death of Ibanez. Yeah. Yes, call him Spanish George. We're going to call the Jorge Spanish George when we do him next week. Jorge. So, hey, y'all, I'm Manny 2.0. No, we're doing Jorge next week for sure. But we got to continue on with Ibanez because he is inspirational in his own right. Yeah, he was already doing work at 19 years old. So he was ready. He grew up in the comic scene in Germany for sure. Alfonso Figueroa is another guy. He succeeded him in the Looney feature of 1957. Okay. Yeah, Figueroa's another one. Look, they shared similar styles. Alphonse Figueroa's also. So Spain had its own scene of comic strips artists, and they kind of fed off each other the same way that Percy Crosby and Chick Young fed off each other. So, yeah, and you can see like the inspiration from American comics, like E.C. Seeger. So, and then Bruguetta was another one of his inspirations. Yeah, and here's another one of his comics. This is from the Mortadelo and Philemon strips, his Morty and Phil Detective Comics. Not Detective Comics, that's in DC, but comic strips about two detectives. Yeah, you can see how it relies on violent gags. No different from the cartoons at the time. Especially like Tom and Jerry. Those are pretty violent in their own way. So definitely in that time, in that era, it relied on a lot of violent physical gags. So, so a little bit about Mortadelo and Philemon Detectives, the comics. So he started producing them in 1958, and in Germany they actually had it. What was the name in Germany? Because they were popular in Germany. What did they go by? What name did they go by? Let's see here. I'm looking up my notes here. Well, yeah, let me see here. I'm looking it up here. Right. And I'm going to show you his other stuff. Another book he did called Clever and Smart. We'll go into that as well. So, yeah, I don't see it here. Okay, here we go. Yes, so. Okay, look, Clever and Smart is Morton. Okay, Clever and Smart is Morton Phil in Germany. That's what they were called. So let me pull it up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So it's interesting because how you have books or characters that appear in one country and they turn out to be different names in another country. So this is what they were called in Germany: Clever and Smart. Clever and Smart. So that's amazing. And this is how they came out in some of the English-speaking countries too. So this is the German print of Morton Phil, aka Clever and Smart. Like Pinky and the Brain, kind of almost. Violent slapstick is a lost art form, says Hothead. I wouldn't say lost. It's still being done today. It's not as rampant. But yeah, we can bring it back. I definitely bring it back. For sure. Clever and smart. Says Hothead. I am clever and smart. Thank you. See, you're not racist. You believe in me. I'm important. Completely important. But yeah, let's look at some of the strips from Clever and Smart from Ibanez's work. Here's an example right here. Thanks to my good friend Hothead for supplying me these shots of the book. Look at the vibrancy of the colors and the expressions on the characters' faces. Fuck me if you want me to read this. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not going to read this. I can't read this. It's small and it's in German, so I'll botch it. But even if you don't really understand what they're saying, you can kind of get a gist of what's happening and how the slapstick really works. Like you could actually find some of the visual gags pretty funny just without the words. Totally without the words. So, good storytelling, good visual storytelling. Here's another page right here. Ooh, this one involving a giant cockroach. Ooh, look at that. That is a cockroach, folks. Kind of similar to the Raid cartoon ads that they showed here in the U.S. with the green roach characters. Just like it, yeah. Again, I don't know what the fuck they're saying because they're speaking German. So just appreciate the pretty pictures. Pretty pictures. Yes, lots and lots of pretty pictures. Here's more of that roach. Totally fighting a good battle, this guy. Totally. I think anybody would lose their shit seeing a giant roach at the doorstep for sure. Absolutely for sure. And that's from the first issue of the Clever and Smart comics. And the story is called Keine Angst, we're retten der die Wit. That means have no fear, we're rescuing the world. Rescuing the world from giant cockroaches. If anybody's brave enough to do that, they deserve all the accolades. Because why not? Why not? Give love to all the cockroach killers. All of them. God damn, that's fucking huge. Jeez, look how fucking big that is. That shit would piss my pants, I'll tell you that. Ugh. Totally piss my pants on that one. But you can see that the color schemes are pretty vibrant, along with his line work. And when he died in 2023, they didn't continue his comics. The final comics were done by him. So the story ended with him. And I always said this. I said that if you're a creator and you have like an IP and it continues on with you, and should you ever pass away, I don't know if passing it over to the next generation would be a good idea. Unless you could trust somebody that actually understands the character and can do it justice. So, but not many people can do that because nobody really expects to know when they're going to die. That's why I fear for Jim Davis's life, because Garfield, as much as I would hate to see Garfield end, I couldn't imagine it being in anyone else's hands unless they understood Jim Davis's humor. And Jim Davis is probably one of the most apolitical storytellers in comics. So I have a fear that if Garfield ever got passed over to someone else, they'll turn that character so political that it'll be a big fuck you to the legacy of Garfield. But I'm going off the deep end on this one. I really am. Hothead says, the style of art, Clever and Smart, is reminiscent of Gomer Goof by Franklin, a European artist. I hope I spelled it right. I have the complete collection. Oh, it's sweet. Okay, cool. You're cultured. You're a man of culture, Hothead. Lots of culture. I appreciate your culture. I appreciate you bringing me culture and making me part of your culture. No, I will not set fire to your culture, nor will I go after your women. I just want to just collect art in your culture because I'm cultured myself, and I bring lots of value to your culture. And you know this because you're not racist. So I will help build your culture, and it will be reflective of me. I mean, of us. So sure, why not? Hold on one second. Okay. Gathering my stuff here. Here we go. Okay, let's continue on here. Looking more at Ibanez stuff. La mujer y la plancha. The woman and the ironing steam machine. I call it the iron, but you guys can see for yourself. So here's a job. The first iron is the giant elephant, the mammoth. That's the first ironing board or ironing machine. Then came the colonial times. Well, not the colonial times. The what do you call it? The pre-Columbus times, and that's followed by the industrial era, and now we have the modern times. So, la familia Trapisonda, un grupito que es la monda. La familia Trapisonda. What is Trapisonda? Trapisonda is a word that is unique to this dialect of Spain. So I will find out what Trapisonda is. Trapisonda is intrigue. Okay. Intrigue. So because in our home, in our culture, we used to say intriga. La familia de intriga is how we would say it. But in Spain, they call it trapisonda. So it's la familia de trapisonda, the family of intrigue. And it definitely looked like a cartoon. Familiar art style. So a lot of slapstick. Helmet says, I always thought Gomer Goof is similar to Calvin and Hobbes. I'm pretty sure that there might have been inspiration there. Helmet says, content says, I've only seen some strips of Calvin and Hobbes, but I can see that. It's quite possible how that there was probably a global or foreign inspiration with these artists that we didn't even know about. Family humor. I think that's what it's called. La familia trapisonda, or family humor. Los Perez is another strip of his. Kind of similar to Blondie. It actually has a very Blondie-esque look to it. Yeah, this one's definitely more inspired by Chick Young. It definitely has that Blondie tone to it. And transition provided for us. It says, yes, hola la. And the woman comes in and says, what are you looking at? Give it here. The husband's like, oh, those are Madagascarian landscapes. And she goes, oh, aren't you ashamed? Libertino, you dirty old man. Photos of Brigitte Bardot. Men. So yeah, he took pictures of Brigitte Bardot. Brigitte Bardot. You guys know Brigitte Bardot is, right? She was a very famous French actress. And probably her generation's or her country's own version of Marilyn Monroe. She was pretty good. Here's more of his cartoony style. And this is probably pure escapism. When you could laugh at the human form and just totally appreciate distortion and cartoonishly yet hilarious violence. The guy in the gym says, in the original cartoon Calvin and Hobbes strips, Calvin is ordered by Hobbes to murder people like Son of Sam. Yeah, it was a lot of these strips that we think were family strips were a lot of subtle, mature themes to them. But the kids at the time were not socially fucked like we are today. So they wouldn't read those comments and want to actually hurt people. They would just laugh. Because that's what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to laugh at those. You weren't supposed to actually go off and do things. You were expected to actually be of sound mind when you read these comics. I don't think there's anything wrong with expecting your readers to be of sound mind. Here's an interesting layout here. He does the panels in the format of the interior of a housing blueprint. That's pretty creative. Actually, a very creative way of doing paneling. So you guys kind of get the idea of his art style and how he illustrates and creates his characters and their very cartoonish escapist style. Here's a picture I found this from The Guardian. The picture of Francisco Ibanez. I can enlarge it. There you go. Francisco Ibanez. There you go. This was from 2016 in the Barcelona Comic Fair. So they have Comic-Con in Barcelona, Spain. I always wonder what it's like to go to a Comic-Con in a different country. You can't go to one here because you'll get caught up by SJWs and comic pros that hate you because you vote the wrong way. I don't think they do that over there in the other countries. I think they just have Comic-Cons just for the love of comics and nothing else. But what do I know? I'm swallowing my cake here, and guy in his room says, I read that part. Oh, he says, I made that up, but maybe it happened in some universe. It would have been cool if it happened. Hey, I guarantee you there was some kind of adult themes in Calvin and Hobbes. I'm pretty sure there was, and not adult in terms of them being inappropriate. Just they expected some people to just get the humor. Like it didn't have to be sugar coated. So, like isometrical style. That's a good way of putting it. Isometric. Isometric. I see. I learned a new word. Isometric. Because Comic Cons in Germany are pretty chill. Of course, we have our fair share of alphabet people and the danger hair. Oh, I like that term, danger hairs. Danger hairs. But without the cancel and witch hunt shit. So what you're saying, Helmet, is many people with different persuasions just going there just to chill and have fun and not getting your faith about accepting pronouns, is what you're saying. They're just all there just to have fun and buy comics and get out your way. That's what I'm gathering from what you're saying. But danger hair, yeah, danger hair. I'm going to borrow that. That is a cool way of describing some of these weirdos. Danger hair. And what is danger hair? Well, danger hair ascribes to a certain type of color that you put to your hair that was not meant to be natural, or the style of how you shape it. So it could be purple with a cone head. That's a good version of danger hair. Everybody kind of coexists. That's the way it's supposed to be. Just coexist. Like, do your thing. Let me do my thing. We can live peaceably and just leave it alone. I think that's how it should be. Just coexist. Don't create rules or policies or a culture that punishes me because I don't think the way you do. Don't punish me because I'm a man, because I'm masculine, because you have daddy issues. No, just do you, I do me, we have fun, and that's it. I think I can dig that. I think a lot of people would dig that. But unfortunately, in the US, we can't have nice things. So let's see here. I have heard problem haircut. Problem haircut, danger hair. Those are cool terms. That girl Naira, Stefania, she had danger hair for most of the story, and a lot of people had a problem with that. But that's because she was a troubled person, so it made sense. And then towards the end of the book, she had normal feminine hair because she was being tutored under a potential father figure, as it should be. How about this? I met a Rosetta-like woman in spandex Black Widow cosplay on a German Comic Con. Was fun. Oh, I'm sure you had a lot of fun there. I'm sure you enjoyed that humongous comic. See, Hines knows it. I bet too. Absolutely, totally bet. So, danger hair. Absolute danger hairs. Anyway, moving on from that. Rompetechos. Rompetechos, yes, that's another one is comics. Characters who are disastrous at their jobs. Yeah, a lot of his characters are big fuck ups. His stories basically are summed up as, we're gonna choose some under extraordinary people and laugh at them because they fuck up. Even though people around them expect them to succeed, they don't succeed, they fuck up, so we laugh at them. I think that's the best summation of the characters and the stories he tells. Oh, look at this one. This one actually utilizes a white and green palette. This is white and green. This is from the El Doctor Espadrapo y su ayudante Gazapo. So Dr. Esparadrapo and his assistant Gazapo. But yeah, it's got the white and green palette going on. This reminds, so you know how like I used the blue and white in my book? Let me give you an example here. Let me pull up a random page in my book here. Let's see. What's a good page to pull up here? If I go down here a little bit. Here's a good one. Okay, I'll use this as an example. So there's a random page in my book, Beastless and Road Warrior Drake, and I used the blue and white palette with a little gray mixed in there. A little close up for some of you as Drake battles this monster creature from the book. And you guys wonder, where does this monster come from? You'll have to read the book to find out. You'll know when you read the ending of Street Champion Road Warrior Drake, and then it'll make sense as you read it in B Citizen Road Warrior Drake. But you can see like the how the blue and the white palette work. So using two color palettes in a comic is not unheard of. Even Ibanez does on it. I talked about Scott McCloud, but Ibanez himself has done it. He did it with this strip. And just like his other characters, the Doctor in the strip is pretty incompetent. So. And here's a red tinted strip. Balin and Balin and Balon. Balin y Balon. Balin and Balon. But it's funnier in Spanish. Balin y Balon. This is actually for an ad. He did this for an ad. So yeah, he did a lot of commercial art himself. A lot of advertising arts for advertisers in Spain. This one is and this is another Morty and Phil comic. This is from 1969. This is the Portuguese edition of it. So, secret agents they are. Here's another Morty and Phil strip. Let me go to the chat for a second. Let's see here. Guidance Room says, I remember years ago, everyone had the coexist bumper sticker on their cars. We really moved away from the liberal, let's just all coexist peacefully mindset. Well, Guidance Room, if you understand the human mindset, especially that of the liberalism, you know that coexist only means coexist with almost everyone except a certain group. There really is no such thing as coexisting when it comes to the human race. We just got to be honest about that. Coexistence is not coexistence is a foreign subject in the human race. If you think that that's not the case, well, why do you think the Arab countries have sustained themselves? Because they don't believe in this whole integration. They don't believe in multiculturalism. There's no such thing as a country that thrives on multiculturalism. I'm not saying that countries don't celebrate different cultures. Like you can be inspired by different cultures, but do you think that they thrive in a multicultural setting? They haven't. They don't. And if you think I'm not being truthful, look what's going on in Europe right now, in France and Spain with the invasions. Look what's happening in New York. Look at all the blue cities here. We tried multiculturalism, and it's resulted in more racism and more division, more separation, and definitely more violence. I'm deviating from the subject, but ultimately the point is, coexistence is a myth. It's not a reality in this world. Carbon Dioxide says, I'm not sure, yo, massive. If Johnny Ryan has a YouTube, but there's definitely interviews with him. He's pretty famous, though. I really like Benjamin Mara, too. More names to add to the list. Guidance agrees with me. He says, yep. Yep. Absolutely. So, let's go down more for a little more examples of some of his characters. So, yeah, so each character that stars in his strips try something and they fuck up and fail. And then sometimes it results in them facing the consequences. Yeah, this one's pretty funny. Like you could just see this, not know what's being said, and you could still get the story and find it hilarious. Like he's trying to zap the tree, and it ends up something happens to the tree. I mean, I guess I could read it, but que fuerte ando de pis. Que habrá comido? What has this tree eaten? Oh, so the dog's pissing. He's zapping the tree. This is fun. This definitely reminds me of the Inspector cartoon from Chris Freeling, for sure. Johnny Ryan is hilarious. He has a guest on his podcast. I listen to pretend to be Jared from Subway calling from prison. Ooh. Yeah, I'm sure that aged pretty well. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, scroll on more. We're at 9:37 now, so we're gonna wind it down a bit. You guys can get ready for the Slum streams on Dark Gifts channel, which is happening in about 20 minutes. But you guys get the gist of it. You get the gist of the style of humor, his art style. And like most artists, he's honed in on his style. So he starts off very crude, but then he has a feel for what he's trying to do and what he wants. And you'll have panels like this where you get some vibrancy and some form with his storytelling, as well as the colors that he uses. So this actually contains himself. Ibanez is a villain in this one. So I'm guessing that's him hanging. Yeah, that's Ibanez. Let me show this picture in a different panel. So that's Ibanez right there, hanging from the boat, from the end of the boat. Not this chick here. Hold on. There he is. That's him, hanging from the boat. So is there a similarity here? What do you guys think? Similarity? I think so. I absolutely think so. Sure. That's totally him. I totally think that's him. So anyway, back to this tab here. Okay, hold on 1 second. Ooh-wee, okay. Yes, I am winding down here. Here's some of the covers for stuff. Vibrant colors and vibrancy, dynamic visuals. Remember when that was a thing with comic covers? Actually, that was the thing with film posters too. All of it went to shit. All of it's gone to shit. I like looking at covers like this that are actually funny, fun, purely escapist. So I want these covers that says hi. Yeah, me too. Like these are the kind of covers I would like in my library. Because they're fun. Like they inspire you to look at it and say, hey, I kind of want to read that. I think that looks fun. So why wouldn't I want to read that? Why wouldn't I want to look at it and just enjoy it? As it's supposed to be. Just like with the Carl Barks stuff from like the 30s and 40s. Same flavor. Absolutely same flavor. Oh, totally. Hold on 1 second. I think my chain fell off here. But I'm looking at the comments here. So I see Helmet. He says, European comics from the 60s and 70s had all these wonderful colors. You think maybe like the lack of colors or vibrant colors, I should say, is part of why American comics are hurting? Because they kind of forgot the fact that the art is supposed to be fun to look at. See, I'd rather have simplistic art than overcomplicated art. Just for the simple fact that simplistic art can draw you in. Because simplicity is really more complex than people think it is. Those are works of art. It says carbon dioxide. R. Okay, you corrected yourself. You meant art. Okay. Oh, yeah. I 100%. That was probably to appeal to kids. You know what's funny is that, like, the stories are adult-oriented. I'm sure kids read these, but these were definitely catered towards adults. And I promise you, if you do stories like this for adults and have these kind of covers, you'll be surprised how many more adults gravitate towards it. Because think about this. You're a grown man, right? You're working a tough job, maybe 2 jobs. You're basically working just to pay bills because there is no life outside of your job. Because let's face it, Bidenomics killed our economy. So you can't really do much of anything these days. So you got to find your outlet, your escape. For some people, it's video games. For others, it's movies or music. Some of it is books or comics. So you're working a 9 to 5 or 9 to 8, as it is these days, and you leave work, you're going to the shop just to get a drink or something, and you see those books, and you're like, yeah, I want to take a look at it. Why? Because that's the only real outlet of life that's out there. And I'm sure that you work that kind of job and you have that kind of life. This kind of stuff would appeal to you because it's the only real sign of life that you have outside of your 9 to 8, paying your bills and just working just so you can afford to breathe. Color theory is very important, says Hada. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a science to coloring, especially when you do like opposite colors, like when you have blue and you mix it with orange, or you have brown mixed with red. Not red, yellow. Have brown mixed with yellow, for example. Like the colors on the opposite end of the spectrum. Lack of colors ruined film and comics. Or lack of fun colors. Oh yeah, especially comics. Like the science of coloring. You gotta like, make it visually appealing to the eyes. Like the eyes have to see it and be like, you know what, that looks fun. I want to read it. I need to stare at it. Like you can't tell me you could stare at these covers and not feel, just by looking at it, feel a sense of vibrancy and life and fun. It's psychological, I think. And some of the best artists understand psychology, so they create their craft based on that psychology just to get the eyes on their product. Why the cartoons of the 30s and 40s and 50s were so successful, because they understood escapism, pure escapism. More violent, Martin, and what? Oh no, this right here. This is the final story by Ibanez. This is his final work. The final Mortadelo story by Ibanez. So this is the final Morton Phil Detective Comics. Right here. But his style has always been consistent over the decades. His coloring got more vibrant for sure because he was able to utilize it, but his art style definitely remained the same. It is definitely a zeitgeist thing, 100%. Gunna Doom says, I watched Roger Rabbit not that long ago, and the color cartoony parts were the best parts. Yeah, it's almost like they understood that cartoons back then were meant to be visually appealing to the eyes. Even Dick Tracy, like the colors in Dick Tracy's strips were they were utilized and applied in the Dick Tracy live action movie. And I think that's part of the reason why that movie did good, was because of the visual. Because honestly, like, wasn't a big fan of the movie, although I guess I kind of appreciate it now, but it was just too convoluted for me. But you can't deny how visually beautiful it looks because of the colors that was used in that movie. Oh, Colin finally showed up. Hello, Colin. Yeah, you're kind of late. We're going to be ending the stream in a few minutes to make way for the Slum stream coming up on Dark Gifts channel. Yes, I died last night, but I'm back. I forgive you, all of you, all the betrayals that you levied upon me. Master Ibanez, carbon dioxide is right. I've seen a lot of subdued, unsaturated color palettes getting popular, which are meant to be more serious and mature, aka boring and depressing to look at. So if the comic looks boring and depressing, people are not going to relate to that. They're not going to want to feed off of that because life is boring and depressing as it is. It's absolutely boring and depressing. Again, I illustrated the picture of a man that works 9 to 8 and has nothing else going on in his life because he's only living just to work. But he'll see that comic strip and he'll get a spark plug in him and he'll want to invest in it because it's the only real sign of life in his life he's got. So if it looks fun, it can make a humongous difference in your mood and your way of life and so forth. Carbon dioxide says, almost got a Dexter Powerpuff Girl vibe. So you guys are seeing it. You're seeing how it all interconnects. Like the cartoons of the modern times that we actually liked were actually inspired by strips from that yesteryear that we tend to forget about. Vibrant colors are uplifting and positive. It also attracts the eye. Yes. Yes, again, coloring is a lost art in modern comics. You don't need to get too complicated with it. Just make it appealing. Appealing equals money. It always does. So true, Massive, says carbon dioxide. It's prison colors, depressing and kind of anxiety-inducing. Even modern architecture and interiors are dull, boring colors. Absolutely, yeah. Nothing, no lie being told there, for sure, 100%. Thoughts on the reverse cancel culture going on right now? So that's not a topic for this particular stream, Colin, but I'll say this. It's the whole, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And I'll leave it at that. That's all I'll say on that. I'll talk about it on a different stream, maybe on someone's stream, maybe on Lord Raptor stream he talks about it, or Wiggle stream if I'm there, but that's all I'll say on that. Okay, so, but you kind of get where I'm going with that. Mazapana says, yeah, I'm not sure when it became popular to suck all the fun of our art, but I'd like to see it reversed a bit so we can have a lot more variety. Oh, I can tell you when it happened, Master Panda. I'll tell you exactly when it happened, and I might get flack for it, but prove me wrong. I think it happened starting in the 90s. I think it happened then. And then it became confused it became confused for punk comics, and that's not, because you could be a quote-unquote punk comic and be fun. But we started to see something happen in the 90s with the depressing nature of some of the indies, and it seeped into the industry. And then the 2000s happened with the SJWs and the whole diversity movement, and here we are today. So, oh yeah, we all love vibrant colors. I'm a big fan of vibrant colors. I know. I've seen some of your stuff. It looks pretty good. Definitely cartoonish and vibrancy. That will definitely attract a lot of eyes. More so than you think, Colin. More so, and if you watch my streams and you see what these streams are about, take the lessons that you've been getting from these, apply it on your end, and you're going to be very, very successful. And by lessons, I mean the not just the vibrancy and how they look, but the story and being able to capture the audience with their story. Oh, look, here's the Donald Trump comic he did. Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un from 2017. Okay. Okay, so I'm definitely going to do that stream with Jorge next week. We need more Jorge. And there you have it. Here's a picture of Ibanez with his characters and his art over the years. And I think that's probably the best shot to end the stream with. Just that one picture of Ibanez and his legacy. I'm on a technicolor mission from God, says carbon dioxide. Topical, says Colin. Gomer Goof. Oh, my good friend William F. Hail Alazmat and the effing chat. We're about to end the stream soon, William F. But I'm just giving the final word here on Ibanez. So Ibanez is definitely one of the pioneers of the humorous movement in Spain. Influenced and also influential, he is. So he got and gave back. And his stuff is even being felt today, to this day. I mean, he passed away last year, so he's still fairly recent, at least as far as the German market's concerned. Definitely influential. Very nice, though. It reminds me of old newspaper comic. We talked about that actually earlier in the stream, especially the newsprint nostalgia, and why some people print on news. Some creators still use newsprint, and what I talked about. So, do a 48-hour stream. See, the thing, carbon dioxide, is if I do streams longer than 2 hours, it'll have no replay value. I need it to have replay value because then it'll be content, decent content. We made it topical, but we also made it entertaining. And you guys helped in the chat. Despite the racism that some of you threw at me today, you still made it entertaining. So that cannot be lost. I can totally not be lost. But yeah, for those that joined in late, feel free once the stream ends to go back and watch some of it and look up at some of the comments that was made in the chat, as well as what we talked about earlier with Roy Thomas. It goes back to Roy Thomas and his comments here. The former editor-in-chief of Marvel, and what he thought about comic art and how comic art was meant to be treated as product and not something serious. Had it not been for the people, you guys, the market, the readers, who gave it value, who gave the stuff value, who give it relevancy and importance. I am not a D word, carbon dioxide. I am capitalist, though. But I'm not the D word. I really don't want my channel to get struck, so I can't use that word. It's racist to use that word. I won't do it. Oh boy. All right. Well, I'm going to end it here. And we actually managed to run the gamut. So you guys in the chat, once again, you guys have been awesome. I appreciate your contribution. I appreciate you teaching me something. To the 1 or 2 people watching on Rumble, hail to Rumble. We want to grow that platform more. And, not give YouTube a monolith in the platform wars. Let's create some balance here. So hail to the chat. Carbon Dioxide, William F. for joining. Colin Lamping, hail. Remember, guys, I stream at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if Dark Gift does his cockfights on Thursdays, then you know that I'm streaming on Wednesdays. So, speaking of the betrayer, here he's whoring himself. Doesn't say a word for most of the stream except for the early ons. Then disappears. Then he hears his name and he's like, I'm going to call him and shill. Shill. Using my stream to shill. So yeah, if he doesn't do his cockfight on Thursdays, then I do Thursday stream. But if he does his cockfight on Thursdays, I stream on Wednesdays, right before the Slum streams on his channel. But I appreciate my girlfriend Helmet with some of the material he's given me. That was awesome, Helmet. Thank you for that. Thank you for providing material. We are doing Jorge next week. So tune in for Jorge. Hail to Jorge. Absolutely. Sorry they made me work late last night. Well, just go back and watch the beginning of the stream. At least you came on. But check the beginning and catch up, and hopefully it will inspire you. So next week we're doing Jorge because we can. And until then, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the Slum streams on Dark Gift's channel, and I will probably be in the chat, if not on the stream. And we will continue to have a good time there and enjoy and laugh. Later for you guys, and down with the racism.